Friends, I want to especially welcome every one of us to a special Leadership Transformation Project 2023 and 2024 election in Imo State as our project. I want everyone that is an Imo person and anyone that is an African and everyone that is a Nigerian to understand the place of vision and the place of strategy in the development of a nation, in the development of Africa, in the development of Imo State, and the development of Nigeria. As part of our leadership development project, we decided to create what we call the This Day acronym. The This Day acronym, T talks about transformation of human life, H talks about human capital development, I talks about industrialization and infrastructure, S talks about sustainable solutions, D talks about dedication to rule of law, justice, equity, and fairness, A talks about accountability, and Y talks about youth, inclusiveness, and empowerment. But for today, I'll be focusing on the 9 focus areas of infrastructure. We of the Transformation Imo Project 2023, we decided to do a critical analysis of the challenge of Imo economically, which is, as it were, has become the challenge of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and several African nations, because our vision is not just Imo State, our vision is not just Nigeria, our vision is specifically for Africa. For purposes of customization, we decided to customize our broadcast today on Imo State because the elections, 2023-24 election of Imo State is very, very critical, because since the inception of democracy in Nigeria, Imo has actually gone backwards when it has to do with infrastructural development. I decided to sit up and do a critical analysis of these things. I've lived in Imo for almost more than 30 years of my life, and I've seen a lot of governments come and go, and they have made a lot of promises concerning the infrastructural development of Imo, and it looks as if that those things are just promises and they have not given it adequate attention. I'm just here today to just put a little bit of those few things that I think that every right government must put in place for the people to have economic advancement. Our vision is to lead the new working economy in Imo, leading the new working economy in Imo. And there's no way we can lead the new working economy in Imo without giving critical attention to infrastructural development. When we talk about infrastructural development, we have economic infrastructure and we also have social infrastructure. So we're going to combine them together. Maybe in the next video, I'm going to be talking about the issue of infrastructure, social infrastructure. When it has to do with social infrastructure, we are talking about education, we're talking about schools and educational services that could actually be put in place for the development of Imo. We're talking about transportation networks, ability to create a lot of transportation networks that citizens can actually have access to is very critical for social interaction. We also have the healthcare support systems, where there are several persons who want to have access to the adequate healthcare facilities can actually get it at a snap of finger. We also looked at community support systems. Several communities in Imo have actually been abandoned for a long time by the past and present government because of one reason or the other, that they are the ones that are going to explain what actually happened. It's important that the issue of community support system be put in place if we want to develop our infrastructure in Imo. We also look at the issue of the public space, information, public safety, sports, and recreation. When it has to do with the issue of public safety and the issue of public space, it's important for us to understand that in public space, we're talking about the market areas, we're talking about the recreation areas, we're talking about sports, we're talking about creating a very safe environment for people to carry out their daily activities. In recent time, Imo State has become the Afghanistan of Africa, the Afghanistan of Nigeria, because of the inability of government to negotiate with the people, to understand what was the problem with the people. It's not enough to unleash security men, army, military men on the people. There have been a whole lot of crisis and conflict within the environment of Imo, and this has actually affected the social interaction of people. Imo has been one of the safest states for quite a long time now, but in recent times, nobody wants to invest in a place where there is insecurity. So when we talk about social infrastructure, we're talking about public safety, we're talking about dissemination of information. We're talking about community support, we're talking about sports and recreation, we're talking about education, we're talking about transportation, we're talking about health services. In this drive in the Imo Transformation project, we have what is called a negotiation team that is going to look at the warring communities and see what we can do. No meaningful development can be achieved in an atmosphere of crisis. You find out that people in real estate, I was talking with someone that is a real estate personnel in the state, and she was complaining about the challenge of insecurity. Nobody wants to invest his money. No investor will invest his money in an atmosphere where there is insecurity. As long as there is insecurity in the market, insecurity in the school, people are being kidnapped, people are being maimed, it looks as if that the state has become hostile. Just like in Afghanistan, nobody wants to invest in that place. No reasonable person will want to put his money in a place where the place is not secured, and hoodlums and bandits will invade the place, cut away with those products or those machineries, and the person goes bankrupt. Nobody wants to do that, and no bank will ever give you money or give you loan or facility without first and foremost doing a due diligence about the environment where you want to invest the money. In our drive towards the transformation 2023-24 project in Imo State, we must make sure that we look at the issues, the crises in at Ihimembano, the crisis at Isialambano. We're going to look at the crisis at Okigwe Zone. We're going to look at the crisis at Ohaji Egbema, because in recent time we saw how a lot of people, one or two crises that misunderstandings that happened between people, the natives and the military. Before you know it, the military invaded the place and it was a disaster. A lot of lives were lost. We can actually prevent these things by doing what is called a critical analysis, by doing what is called negotiation processes, and consider the plight of the people. Understand why these people are worried, understand the challenges, and then we look at other social groups who are interested in everything that happens in the state. It is one thing for every right-thinking government to understand there are people who are state actors and non-state actors who are quite interested in everything that happens. Social groups, civil organizations, community development systems, age grades, and critical stakeholders who may not actually be in the helm of affairs of the state, but they are interested. These people are making strong contributions towards the development of the state. We need to bring them together. That is what we are going to be doing by the time we get involved in governance 2023-2024. We're going to bring them together. We're going to work with them to understand their plight and then give them appropriate attention so that there could be safety, there could be public safety, there could be access to a lot of other facilities that we need in Imo. It is important also to know that sports and recreation is very, very important in social integration. Until these things are given the right attention, we cannot have a transformed Imo. We cannot have an economy that is working. We also need to give attention to the issue of roads. When it has to do with movement of goods and services, movement of persons from one location to the other. Imo State is playing a very important role in the southeastern part of Nigeria. We have states like River State, we have Anambra State, we have a connectivity through where we can get to Enugu. We also have Abia State. Nobody goes to Akwa Ibom. It's difficult for you to get to Akwa Ibom State or Calabar without passing through Imo. You can't get to Abia State effectively without passing through Imo. You find out that this state that is about 7.8 million people is housing a neighborhood of people close to about 30 million personnel. People living within Imo State, living in their environment. When I talk about the 30 million people, we're talking about Abia State, we're talking about Anambra State, we're talking about River State, we're talking about Enugu, we're talking about Akwa Ibom State. This is very, very important. There should be a complete road network, a sane road network, linking businesses, linking individuals. With that in mind, as long as the roads are fine, as long as the security architecture is put in place, Imo's economy is going to grow. And this is one of the things that we're going to give absolute commitment in our Transformation Imo Project 2023 and 2024. When it has to do with education, in fact, I have a lot of strong passion in education. I visited one of the state schools, secondary schools recently, and it was a disaster. The whole place was in a mess. You find out the young people that are supposed to be in school, they are taking drugs, they are engaging in one brigade or the other. Why? Because there is no monitoring team when it has to do with education. The classrooms are looking like a poultry farm. You don't have seats, the whole places are broken. There is no quality control system that is managing the little structures that are there. If you go to the hinterlands, it's almost like a disaster. People are, let's begin to give attention to the young people. Let's begin to give attention to education. This is one thing that the Imo Transformation Project 2023-2024 that we are going to be committed to. I have a school, our organization, we have a school, we have a primary school, we have a secondary school. It's something that when you come, you understand what it takes to run a school and the way the systems are run so that people can actually be disciplined and have quality education. Because whatever thing that we're putting into the education sector will determine to a great extent what is going to happen to our children, to our young people. Our university system must be working. The Imo State University, the Imo Polytechnic, which has actually been converted to University of Agriculture, must be upgraded. There must be a structural system that will make all the teachers, all the lecturers engage themselves accordingly. We find a situation in our secondary schools and in our university systems where a lecturer does not come for lectures. A semester that's supposed to be about 3 months, the man will not come the first month, he will not come the second month, and then the third month the man shows up and then he brandishes a whole lot of textbooks, and then children and students will begin to sort him, and then he will give an assignment, he will give a test, and want people to mop up a textbook of about 300 pages within 2 weeks. And these things are strategically done so that they can extort money from the students. There's meant to be a kind of monitoring team, an evaluation team, a quality control team in our Imo State University, that the state-owned universities. The state-owned universities, especially the Imo State University and the Imo State Polytechnic, which has actually been converted to University of Agriculture. It's important that by the time we give attention to this University of Agriculture, we are going to have agricultural boom. We are going to have people engage in the university system practically. This is not found in Imo. And as long as this educational infrastructure is not put in place, we cannot improve on our human capital. I want us to understand that if you move around Imo, this is not just to castigate any government. If you move around Imo, you come to discover that we don't have roads. This is very simple. Even the blind man understands that the roads in Imo are bad. And as long as the roads in Imo are bad, movement of goods and services from the communities, from the local areas, is going to be difficult. The price of commodities will definitely increase. So it's important that we begin to give attention to the issue of education. It's important we begin to give attention to the issue of the road network, and also give attention to social infrastructure that I've taken a lot of time to explain. And finally, for this edition, the issue of health care. I was so worried when I went to a particular state-owned medical facility, and I found that a set of twins died. They died not because they wanted to die or because God wanted them to die. They died because of the inadequate healthcare facility that was part of the system. This set of twins died because of infection, and this is not good for the Imo people. Who knows how many persons that have actually died before now because of this absence of quality healthcare, where people need to have access to quality healthcare. It is important for us to know that everyone that is living in the hinterlands in Imo State, for the person to get to the Federal Medical Center or the Imo State Hospital, General Hospital, or the Imo Foundation Hospital, is going to take them quite a lot of time. It's important for us to know we need to begin to build cottage hospitals. We need to begin to create the right networks so that people who are sick, elderly people, senior citizens who happen to be infected or get bitten by snakes or have any exposure to any kind of infection can actually access emergency health care provisions and services in their locations before the day breaks. Probably if it happens in the night, it's important we put in all the 27 local governments, make all those cottage hospitals, make them to become functional, give them the necessary support system, make sure that it's a 24-hour doctor presentations in those locations and qualified nurses in those locations. Government can fund it. We can actually do what is called private partnerships in those places. There are a lot of people who want to invest in Imo. There are a lot of medical experts who want to invest in Imo, but the challenge has been security. The second challenge has been the issue of infrastructure in the area of medical services, and the third one has been the poor roads, because nobody will want to get himself involved in a place where if he needs attention in the town within a few minutes, he may not be able to get it. So by the time we do these things and put them in place, our partners are everywhere, all over the country. Our partners are all over the world. All of our partners are also in Africa who want to be part of what is going on in Imo. Most people do not understand that Imo is one of those states that everybody wants to be part of. Everything that has to do with Imo, the whole of Nigeria is interested, the whole of Africa is interested, even the whole wide world is interested in what is going on in Imo. It is important we work together as a people to make sure that we increase the economic and social infrastructure of our state, specifically giving attention to the issue of road networks, giving attention to the issue of health facilities, giving attention to the issue of education, giving attention to the issue of social infrastructure, where I mentioned education services, public safety, sports and recreation, and public service deliveries. As long as these things are put in place, I am too sure that our vision, I am too sure that our commitment, I am too sure that our goal to lead the new Imo economy that works will become a reality come 2023, come 2024. So everywhere you are, you're a professional, you have some kind of experience in these areas that I've mentioned. Please, let's get connected on the number that is on the screen, and let's be part of the new Imo economy that works. Come 2023, come 2024, please be part of the Imo Transformation Project 2023. And I want to let you know that we're going to make Imo the California of Africa. Till I see you in the next video, please, let's get connected. I remain your friend and the convener of the Imo Transformation Project 2023, Reverend Barrister Ikenna Emmanuel. Till I see you, have a nice day, and God bless Imo, God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, God bless Africa, and God bless you.